Hello, everybody. I would like to welcome you to the fourth episode of Megan's World. I am your host, Special K Thoughts, aka Special K, better known in the world of Twitter. During this episode, we will discuss the following topics: Meghan and Harry's appearance at the Time 100 TV special, Meghan's preliminary court hearing regarding her lawsuit against the trash bucket, Mail on Sunday. We will discuss the results of the royal family's annual financial report for 2019 through 2020. Then we will go into a segment called Royal Family Values / Just Take the Damn Titles. Then we will discuss Meghan's appearance on America's Got Talent. We will discuss Meghan's appearance at Fortune Virtual Most Powerful Women Summit. We will also talk about Meghan and Harry's interview with the Evening Standard, which they call an end to structural racism in the UK. They launched their new campaign and they reveal their list for Black History Month's generational trailblazers. All right, everybody, you know the drill. Disclaimer alert. Megan's World is a pro-Meghan Markle news channel that discusses any and all things related to Meghan Markle. This is a no fence riding, no neutralist zone. We are supporters of Meghan Markle. We are fans of Meghan Markle. We are stans of Meghan Markle. And Prince Harry, too. We are not royalist. We are not monarchist. Oh, hell no. We are Meghanist. Meghan and Harry made an appearance at the first ever televised event of the Time 100 TV special. Now, those of you who are not familiar, every year, Time magazine will release a list of 100 people all across the world that they have deemed had the most influence. And that influence can either be positive or negative. Now, there are different categories, and the categories are musicians, politicians, activists, world leaders, even just regular people like me and you who have done extraordinary things within our own communities. Now, I'm going to be honest, I did not watch this in real time because I had to take my sleepy, tired ass to bed. However, I did watch it on YouTube, and I'm going to tell you something. I busted out laughing when I saw the dog jump out the bushes and walk behind Harry and Meghan. I thought that shit was funny as hell. I don't know the dog's name, but oh my God, the dog almost stole the show, okay? But anyway, according to CNN and my own eyes and ears, you know Meghan gonna do Meghan, okay? Meghan urged people to vote. And she described this upcoming U.S. election as the most important election of our lifetime. Facts. Prince Harry, he made it clear that he has never voted in his life. However, he urged people to reject online negativity and hate speech. They also honor the medical community and countless voices who are working to end injustice. Now, back in 2018, Meghan and Harry were featured on this list. Of course, you had them haters like Puke Boy Morgan, who was saying the same old. You know, he accused Meghan of campaigning against Trump. He was bitching and moaning, saying that they can't spout off and interfere in foreign elections. I'm still trying to figure out how is Harry and Meghan interfering in a foreign election. Just because you encourage people to vote and reject online negativity and hate speech, that means you're interfering in a foreign election? No, bitch. The people who are interfering in a damn foreign election is Russia, China, and the orange guy in the White House. That's who's interfering in the U.S. election. Somebody just ought to just slap the shit out of puke boy Morgan. He does not know what the hell he is talking about. But anyway, he goes on just demanding that the Queen strip Prince Harry and Meghan of their titles. Boy, he really thinks highly of himself, doesn't he? I mean, he really honestly thinks that him and Queen Elizabeth have that type of relationship to where he can demand the Queen to take Prince Harry and Meghan's titles because he says so. What a pompous ass. Anyway, I think, puke punk boy Morgan, I think he's feeling mighty safe. I think he feels mighty safe and protected on Twitter, because he don't block David Simon. Remember the epic dragon that David Simon gave Puke Boy when Meghan was encouraging Americans to vote at the all-women couch party? Remember that? He don't block David Simon. And he probably blocked Bette Midler too. Because remember, she told him to F off. I bet you that punk boy done blocked so many people off Twitter. That's why he feels safe. He's such a bitch. I bet his wife, I bet his wife has bigger balls than him. Look, we all know it's game over when it comes to that subject about Piers Morgan. Okay? Let me tell you something. Men with big egos are usually lacking in other areas. And that's all I have to say about that. All right, Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace. They actually released a statement in regards to what Harry had said at the Time 100 TV special. Now, keep in mind, all Harry said was that he had never voted and he encouraged people to reject online negativity and hate speech. However, Buckingham Palace felt like they needed to make a statement about that. Now, they didn't say nothing about Meghan. Oh, no. They didn't say nothing about Meghan. I guess Buckingham Palace was like, shit. I'm tired of messing with Meghan. I guess they said, shit, that girl gonna do whatever the hell she wants to do. So we're not messing with her. We're not messing with her. But Harry, they decided, they felt compelled to release a statement. So this is what Buckingham Palace had to say about Harry's comments about rejecting, right, online negativity and hate speech. Buckingham Palace. We would not comment. The Duke is not a working member of the royal family, and any comments he makes are in a personal capacity. Okay. Now, you know what? Actually, I like that statement. I think that's a statement that Buckingham Palace should always say when it comes to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I do. I think I can rock with that statement. I can. I like that statement. However, I'm just confused as to why they felt like they needed to make a statement about what Prince Harry said, because all he said was, hey, reject online negativity and hate speech. Reject it. That's all he said. I mean, he was encouraging positivity, but they felt compelled to have to release a statement about that. Buckingham Palace, they some old sorry suckers. They really are. But anyway, Buckingham Palace, overall, that was a good statement. Y'all need to keep that on repeat. Anyway, we moving on to the next topic. All right. Now we are going to get into the recent preliminary court hearing that was held regarding Meghan's court case battle against the Mail on Sunday. The judge recently court ordered that this trash bucket tabloid can change their strategy and base their whole defense on finding freedom. They believe Meghan cooperated with the writers of the book, giving them information about the letter, invading her own privacy. The judge also granted the Mail on Sunday's request for Meghan to hand over 6 months of relevant emails, photos, FaceTime logs, and WhatsApp messages to see if they shed any light upon Meghan's attitude towards the letter and her privacy. Okay. Now, my take on this is, who gets to determine what is relevant? I mean, it just seems like to me, Meghan's privacy is getting violated all over again by this kangaroo court. It's like, damn, who's on trial here? And then it was reported that the sorry-ass judge actually scolded both parties for the cost of the trial. But then she goes ahead and entertains this foolishness. Now, when the judge scolded both parties, that actually happened at the preliminary hearing, okay? The judge did not make her decision at the preliminary hearing, okay? She made her decision afterwards, just for clarity reasons. Anyway, at the preliminary hearing, when the Mail on Sunday was fighting to change their strategy and base their whole defense on finding freedom, Meghan's attorneys, they were they were giving examples of stories in the book that just simply weren't true. And even gave examples of stories in the book that weren't true that was reported by guess who? The Mail on Sunday. Wow. One example was a description of Meghan and Harry's first date to include what they drank, what they talked about, contents of their text messages after the date. Well, Meghan's attorney said, it didn't go down like that. Remember the story about the 2016 romantic Botswana safari trip and the camp that Meghan and Harry supposedly went to together? That didn't happen. Now, this story that I read, I knew that ain't no way in the world this shit was true. Remember in this book where it stated that Harry met Doria for the first time in LA? Well, oops. Meghan's attorney said, oh, hell no, that's not true. Now, come on now. Come on. Remember, the press hounded Doria while Prince Harry and Meghan were dating. Remember, they used to camp out at her house. They was up in trees and shit. They was following Doria to work. So there was no way that story was true. Now, I have to admit that I thought that this story was true. I just figured that Meghan definitely would have received security training ahead of her wedding. Bloop. That turns out not to be true. Meghan's attorneys pointed out that Meghan has never received security training ahead of her wedding, and she's just never received it, period. She didn't receive security training before her wedding. She didn't receive security training after her wedding. Now, I have to admit, I was a little surprised by that, because it's like all the death threats that Meghan and Harry got before the wedding, and they were still getting death threats on the day of their wedding. I read somewhere where they got a death threat that said that, you know, if they actually went through it, that somebody was gonna kill them. But back to Meghan not getting any security training. That's things that make you say, like, why wouldn't she have any security training? I mean, did they think that exotic blood that she had was going to make her bulletproof? Do they think that everybody who's black or half black can run fast? Like, really? No security training? That tells you all you need to know about that royal family. But anyway, now, one story that all squatties, all Squatty Squad, Meghanettes, stans of Meghan definitely should have known, that the story about Meghan being in the damn bathroom on the night before her wedding, sending her sperm donor text messages. Now, we all know that shit wasn't true. Come on now. When I read that in the book, I straight up, I think that's when I put the book down and didn't read it again for another 2 weeks. Like, for real. I remember reading that, and I was like, Oman must think we really dumb. You know what I mean? He must really think that we believe anything. But I knew that story wasn't true. And Meghan's attorneys pointed out that the Mail on Sunday knows that story is not true, because they got all the damn text messages from Meghan and her sperm donor. And all those text messages that were exchanged are in court papers. So anyway, another story that Meghan's attorneys pointed out that had me rolling was the story about Harry sending Prince Charles text messages after the birth of Archie. Well, it turns out that story is not true, because Prince Charles ain't got no damn cell phone. Really? Like, why doesn't Prince Charles have a cell phone? Can somebody please get Prince Charles a cell phone? I mean, is that like protocol? My goodness. Gee, what? Oh, I can't. Get Prince Charles a cell phone. Anyway, this trial is scheduled for January 11th next year. Meghan has 4 witnesses and the Mail on Sunday has 3. Now, what's interesting about the Mail on Sunday's witnesses, right? Because I've been through court. I've been through court trials, and I've been a witness in a court case. You know, by the 4th quarter, all of the witnesses have already given depositions already. Okay, they've already given depositions. All right, it's a done deal. So it's like the Mail on Sunday's witnesses. I mean, did they give depositions stating that they knew that Meghan cooperated with Finding Freedom? Impossible. No way. There's no way that happened. So it's just interesting to me that the Mail on Sunday would change their defense and put their whole case on finding freedom. I mean, that just goes to show you that they know they're going to lose this case, but they just want to embarrass Meghan. And, there's a rural correspondent who actually agrees with that. Now, I'm going to call this guy a rural correspondent because I don't really know too much about him. His name doesn't sound familiar at all. So instead of calling him a royal rodent, I'm going to go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt and call him a rural correspondent. Rural correspondent Johnny Diamond, he straight up said, there is not much about Meghan's letter to her father in Finding Freedom. And there isn't, right? Because the Mail on Sunday, they didn't publish the whole letter. But anyway, he goes on to say, so it's extremely difficult to think why the Associated Press believes there's some smoking gun in the book that will turn this case around. And then he goes on to say, the Associated newspaper may seek to rebut the Duchess' charge of invasion of privacy by suggesting she breached her own privacy by cooperating with the writers, but that is such a weak defense. Or it may simply use the book and the allegation that the Duke and Duchess cooperated as just a further way to embarrass Meghan in court. All right. Now, I see why we don't see this royal correspondent too much in these British tabloid papers, because he's speaking truth, right? He's speaking facts, right, that are positive facts about Meghan. But anyway, I've been seeing on Twitter and I've been seeing in some of these papers for calls for Meghan to drop this case because it's going to embarrass her, blah, 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 blah. Look, it's obvious that Meghan is not going to back down. Come on, give our girl some credit. She's already weighed the pros and cons of this case. I'm pretty sure Meghan knew that this fight was going to be brutal. Okay, but it's about principle for her. It really, really is. And she's not going to drop this case. So we're going to have our girls back. And to be honest, I can't wait till January 2021 comes so they can get this over with. But anyway, Squatty Squad. I see some squatties had turned on Omid Scobie. They mad because some parts in the book are not true. Well, come on, guys. Finding Freedom is an unauthorized biography. You know that that's going to be 65% fictional. Yeah, there may be some things in the book that are not true, but there are probably some things in the book that are true. At the end of the day, you can't take a biography as fact. It's a biography. They are getting information secondhand, third hand, in some cases, fourth hand. Squatties. If you're a true Squatty, if you're a true Meghanette, if you're a true Meghan Markle fan, you knew straight up, at least you should have been known straight up, that story about Meghan being in the damn bathtub, texting her sperm donor on the night of her wedding or the night before her wedding, we all knew that wasn't true. So anyway, my take on Oman is that he's a royal reporter. Okay, I don't trust him. I don't. But I do tolerate Oman. I tolerate him with a side eye, if that makes any damn sense. To me, Oman, for the most part, has been fair when covering Meghan and Harry. But what I really love about Oman is the fact that he is quick to call out racism and royal hypocrisy. Oman, to me, he sees Meghan and Harry through a different prism than those royal rodents. I feel that based on his own life experiences and the fact that he's biracial himself, that Omid, is going to view them in a different way. Remember now, Omid even called out one of the Queen's senior staff members. Remember when he said that while he was at the Buckingham Palace or whatever doing some story, and some senior staff, told him that they were surprised that he could speak so well or that he spoke like that. Remember that? I mean, Oman said it with his whole chest on Good Morning America. So I just don't think that Oman is a diehard royalist. I really don't. I think he does the job because it's easy. I mean, think about it. A royal reporter, all they do is follow the royals all across the world. That's all they do. And just report on what they do. You know, that's easy. Anybody can do that. I don't even think you need a college degree for that. I mean, anyway, you notice how the Mail on Sunday and these royal rodents are only going after Oman? I mean, he did have a co-author on the book. How come they're only going after Oman and not what's-her-face? Think about it. They're only going after Oman and not what's-her-face. Yeah, let's attack the biracial guy. That tells me all I need to know. Buckingham Palace released its annual financial report for 2019 through 2020. The sovereign grant is the funding provided to support the official duties of the Queen and maintain the occupied royal palaces. According to the report, the sovereign grant amounted to £69.4 million. Now, the sovereign grant is 100% British taxpayer funded. And that grant goes to the Queen. Now, of course, the British tabloid press only wanted to focus on Harry and Meghan's African tour, which in total cost was about $245,000. They are painting this tour like it was the most expensive royal tour ever in life, ever. When you break it down and compare to what other royal households spent, that is far from the truth. But what do we expect from gossip liars who have no journalistic integrity, who are a part of the hit smear campaign cult against Harry and Meghan? Grazia UK, some members of the Squatty Squad, and even other media news outlets who aren't royalists and who are not brainwashed by these British tabloids. You know, they took their time and really broke the numbers down. And the end result is that Harry and Meghan spent the least amount of money. Basically, you could slap it up, flip it, rub it down, but the facts are the facts. A big fat shout out to Royal Suitor from the world of Twitter. They actually broke these numbers down, and Grazia UK wrote a story about it. Check it out. Now, Meghan and Harry's African tour total cost was $245,000. During that tour, Harry and Meghan went to 4 countries. They went to Malawi, South Africa, Angola, and Botswana. You know, it's amazing to me how many educated people do not realize that Africa is a continent. Just thought I'd throw that out there. All right. Harry and Meghan's tour lasted a total of 10 days. So when you break it down, break it down, the daily cost of their tour was $24,500. So let's just go on ahead and round that up to $25,000. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, Prince Charles, who don't have no damn cell phone, took one 2-day trip to Oman. I hope I'm saying that right. The total cost for that one 2-day trip was $205,000. And Prince Charles went by his damn self. Okay. Now, the daily cost of that trip was $102,500. So let's just round that up. $103,000 versus $25,000 in daily costs. You do the damn math. Which trip costs more? Okay. Prince Charles, he took a trip to Japan. That trip lasted 4 days. Now, this trip, the total cost was $113,000. So when you break it down, break it down, the daily cost was $28,000. Okay, that's a little better. So $28,000 versus $25,000. But again, you do the freaking math. Which trip costs more? Now, Will and Kate, 5-day trip. Remember that Pakistan trip? 5-day trip. $117,000 in total costs. Okay, that's not bad. 5-day trip. Now, when you break it down, break it down. The daily cost was $29,000. Okay, so $29,000 versus $25,000. You do the math. Which trip costs more? I can go on and on and on and on and on, but I won't. Actually, I will. Okay. Now, Prince Andrew. Okay. You know, that guy, Prince Andrew. My best friend is a sex offender. That Prince Andrew. He chartered a plane for 1 day to do an official visit to a damn golf club. So he basically went golfing. That chartered plane was $15,848. You might as well round it up. $16,000. Okay. So basically, the British taxpayer paid $16,000 for your boy, Prince Andrew. I'm talking fast because I'm getting fired up. The British taxpayer paid $16,000 for Prince Andrew to play golf. Think about that. It's obvious that Harry and Meghan's tour wasn't the most expensive. These trash bucket tabloids, they don't believe in facts. The headlines are deceitful, they're hypocritical, and they're full of lies. But what do we expect from the toilet water British press? When Harry and Meghan decided to leave the firm, they were told, okay, you can leave, but you can no longer use the word royal, and you're going to have to shut down the website, Success Royal. Harry and Meghan said, okay, fine. We will abide by your wishes, and we will no longer use the word royal, and we will shut down the website, Success Royal. But that wasn't enough. Then the haters and the critics and the royal rodents and royal staff members began to scream and holler, bitch, moan, and complain about the damn security costs. The royal rodents were writing articles every day screaming that the British public should not have to foot the bill for Harry and Meghan's security costs. Front pages of newspaper articles, British TV shows dedicating segments with panels of 4 to 5 Harry and Meghan haters just screaming that the British taxpayer should not have to pay for Harry and Meghan's security costs. I mean, they even got the occupier-in-chief in the White House to weigh in about the damn security cost. Harry and Meghan said, whoa. Calm that down. You guys need to calm down. We got this. We've made arrangements for our own security costs. And furthermore, We didn't ask the orange guy in the White House for any assistance. Thank you very much. When news broke that Harry and Meghan were staying in Tyler Perry's home, they bitched and they complained about that. The royal rodents would write articles purposely pointing out how much Tyler Perry's home cost. They would bitch and complain about how many bathrooms it had. Hell, they even started to trash Tyler Perry. They referred to him as a rapper. In one article I read that they referred to Tyler Perry as Meghan's ex-boyfriend. They even called Harry and Meghan grifters, accused them of being freeloaders, living off of other people. Harry and Meghan said again, you guys need to calm that down and not worry about what we do. And then news broke out. Bam! Harry and Meghan bought a house in Santa Barbara. Wow. The haters go ballistic. They lose their shit. They go crazy. They can't believe that Harry and Meghan bought a house in Santa Barbara, California. They start to trash the house. You see articles saying that the house was owned by some Russian mobster, that the house is haunted, that the house is on a slope and it's in danger of a mudslide. Articles stating that Harry and Meghan paid too much for the house. They don't have that type of money. These royal rodents, they got their hands all in Harry and Meghan's pockets. They're trying to figure out the mortgage of this house. They're saying that the house is going to depreciate. And the bitching and the moaning and the complaining about how many bathrooms this house has. And then they start to badmouth Santa Barbara. Then the demands are that Prince Charles needs to stop funding Harry and Meghan. People are saying, the haters are saying, the critics are saying, the royal rodents are saying, Harry is a 35-year-old man. He needs to become financially independent, stop taking money from Daddy Charles, and get a job. What do Harry and Meghan say? They say, shh, you guys don't need to worry about us. We got it. We got it. We're good. We're good. And then bam, news hits the press that Harry and Meghan have signed a deal with Netflix that's allegedly worth over $150 million. Boy, these haters and critics, they become enraged. They got smoke coming out their ears. They foaming at the mouth about this damn Netflix deal, calling Harry and Meghan sellouts, that they sold out because they got a Netflix deal. They go extra full. I mean, articles just everywhere about how the royal family was upset, William mad, the queen isn't happy, and she was going to scrutinize the deal. Even painting a picture that the queen had some type of power, right? That if she didn't like the deal, she can cancel it. Yeah, okay. Then the demands are, well, since Harry and Meghan have this Netflix deal that's worth over $150 million, that they should repay the $2.4 million for the renovation cost of Frogmore Cottage Hell in full. Like right now, today, in the next 2 hours. I mean, there was even an MP that got involved in that mess. But what does Harry say? Harry says, you know what? You know what, Britain? You know what, British taxpayers? I got you. I understand. I understand that people are hurting. I got you. I hear you. Bam. Harry repays the sovereign grant, the 2.4 million pounds. Now keep in mind, Harry and Meghan had already made arrangements to pay back that money. They had already made payment arrangements with Elizabeth, the loan shark queen, and they were supposed to pay, I think, 18,000 pounds a month, something like that. But you know, them haters, they didn't care. That didn't satisfy them. You know, you had trailer park trash reporters like Rebecca English from the Daily Fail. You know what her response was to that? Her response was, just because Harry and Meghan pay back the 2.4 million, that does not mean we aren't going to still scrutinize them. Wow. Okay, Becky. So the only response you have is to be negative? Okay. Becky, remember when you told Prince Harry that your son was in the hospital? And a few days later, he walked up to you and asked you how you and your son was doing? Remember that story that you told about Prince Harry? Prince Harry, yeah, that guy. That guy that you want to scrutinize. Your only mission when it comes to him is to scrutinize him and badmouth him. The guy that asked you about your son, asked you how your son was doing. You know, Rebecca, I know your parents did not raise you with decency, but I'm about to teach you some decency. A better response to that could have been, you know what? It's a good thing Prince Harry repaid the money. Even though I don't agree with everything that Prince Harry has done, I know from personal experience that he's a good guy. Nah, you had to be a bitch. Well, alrighty then. Now the demands are to take their titles. The haters are upset because Meghan encouraged people to vote and Harry encouraged people to reject online negativity and hate speech. So now the demands are take their titles. All right. Well, you know what? Let's really go down this list here. Harry and Meghan agree not to use the word royal anymore, and they shut down Success Royal website. Check. Harry and Meghan are paying for their own security. Check. Harry and Meghan are no longer taking money from the British taxpayer. Check. Harry and Meghan buy a house. Check. Harry and Meghan are no longer taking money from Daddy Charles. Check. Harry and Meghan are financially independent. Check. Harry and Meghan repay the 2.4 million pounds to the sovereign grant. Check. Meghan encourages Americans to vote. Check. Harry and Meghan encourage people to reject online negativity and hate speech. Check. What is the response from the haters, the royal rodents, royal staff, and even members within the royal family? The response is take their titles because they broke a promise and they are not representing the Queen's values. Okay. Prince Andrew admits on national TV that he remained friends with Jeffrey Epstein after he found out that Jeffrey was a convicted sex offender. And it's alleged that Prince Andrew participated in sex trafficking because he had sex with a 17-year-old girl that Jeffrey Epstein was sex trafficking. The royal family has not taken away his titles. He still has his military appointments, and there hasn't been a demand for his titles to be taken away. Let's see. Meghan and Harry are financially independent, no longer taking money from the British taxpayer. They don't repay the $2.4 million to the Sovereign Grant. They encourage people to vote. They're encouraging people to reject online negativity and hate speech. And the response from their critics and haters, and even people within the royal family, are to take away their titles. They are not representing the Queen's values. Prince Andrew saw no problems remaining friends with a convicted sex offender. And he allegedly participated in sex trafficking by having sex with a 17-year-old female that was being sex trafficked by his friend, Jeffrey Epstein. And the response from the haters, the royal rodents, the royal staff, and even the royal family, just make Andrew go into early retirement. But he can keep his titles and he can keep his military appointments. Okay. So, Prince Andrew, he upholds the Queen's values. Yes, he does. Royal family values. Gotta love it. I say take the damn titles. Just take them. I dare you to take them. No matter what, Harry is the grandson of a queen and the son and brother of future kings. What next? You gonna tell Harry he can't be called Harry no more? You gonna make him give up all his blood and give it to a blood bank? Regarding Meghan, trust. 90% of the world recognize Meghan as Meghan Markle, not the Duchess of Sussex. You can miss me with that bullshit about Meghan wouldn't be nothing if she hadn't married Harry and nobody knew who she was. She was a BCDEFG Z-list actress, blah, blah, blah. So what if she was? So what? So what if she was a BCDEFG Z-list actress? At least she was making her own damn money. She managed to do charity work while being a Z-list actress, not living off of the American taxpayer dime. You know what? Meghan is the only self-made multi-millionaire in the royal family. Face it. Look, let me tell you something. Meghan Markle was damn changing TV commercials at the age of 11, fighting for women's rights. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it, bitch. Meghan Markle is a college graduate. Meghan was on a hit TV show in America and in Canada for the past, 7 years? I should say lasted 7 years. She was a global ambassador for World Vision. She was an advocate for the UN. I mean, she was meeting world leaders way before she met Prince Harry. Look, Meghan Markle been doing this. If you don't know about it, Google it, bitch. Yes. Marrying into the royal family increased her public profile to the world stage. Yes, absolutely. But look what she has done with that platform. Look what she's done. SmartWorks clothing line. She wrote the cookbook that became a bestseller, raising money, all that money for the women of the Hub community. Look at British Vogue magazine, Forces of Change. Look how that blew up. I mean, she done all of this in less than 2 years with the royal family. And look at our people's prince. Look at Prince Harry. Seriously. Look what he has accomplished on his own within the royal family. I mean, look, he's got the Invictus Games. He's got Centibel. He's got the Travelist. Haters say, of course they're going to say, he couldn't have accomplished that without being in the royal family. Well, damn it, the ideas came from his freaking head, fool. Come on now. Look, Meghan and Harry had already established relationships, connections within the global business, charity, and political community, who are all very aware of their talents. Look, this is a public service announcement. Harry and Meghan don't need you. You can't control them. You could strip Harry down to his damn drawers. And please believe me when I say, Harry will still be all right. As for Meghan, she is not scared. You could send the orange guy in the White House after her. And all Meghan will do is tell the orange guy that she did not send for him. Meghan is going to continue to do Meghan. And you know what? She will be all right. You guys need to face it. They are winning. They have accomplished in what they said they were going to accomplish in less than 6 months. Damn it. Harry and Meghan are not responsible for whatever it is that you lack in your simple, sorry ass, no purpose, pathetic life. Meghan and Harry have been very, very, very busy. Meghan made an appearance on America's Got Talent. I'm pretty sure everybody watched that. Meghan was on the show because she supported finalist Archie Williams. For those of you who do not know Archie's story, he was incarcerated for 36 years for a crime he didn't commit. I'm pretty sure Meghan was rooting for Archie because, you know, his name is Archie. But probably what motivated her to make an appearance on the show was because of Archie's story. Now, Meghan was featured on Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit. During her appearance, she talked about how stopping the spread of misinformation online and building communities that will be healthier for individuals and for society. If anybody knows about this subject, it's Meghan Markle, okay? Meghan talked about how experiences online shape communities offline. Now, this interview, I actually signed up for it and I watched it. I thought Meghan's interview with Ellen McGirt, who was the senior editor of Fortune, was probably one of the best interviews that Meghan has done so far. Ellen McGirt, she was a great interviewer. She really was. Here are some of the quotes that Meghan said that I thought were awesome. Meghan said, bots and trolls are changing how we interact online and off. Now, we all know that's true. For those of us who are on social media all the time, we all know that there are bots and trolls everywhere. And what makes it horrible is that bots and trolls, they're actually paid. They're paid to spread nothing but negativity. Now, another quote that Meghan said that hit the news quick, and it was all over the news, was when Meghan said this. If you look back at anything I've said, what ends up being inflammatory is people's interpretation of it. But if you listen to what I actually say, it's not controversial. Facts, people, facts. What Meghan says and what Meghan does is not controversial at all. It's people's interpretation of it. It's their own personal biased opinion. And it's crazy. I mean, when Meghan does something, these critics, I mean, they act like she done killed somebody. They act like she done committed the worst crime in the world, you know? Like being friends with the convicted sex offender. All right. In Meghan's conclusion on this appearance, she quoted a quote that she goes by. And this quote is by Georgia O'Keeffe. And the quote says, "I have already settled it for myself. So flattery and criticism go down the same drain, and I am quite free." I mean, that is perfect. It's perfect because of the circumstance that she's in now. Like Ellen said, you know, Meghan has got mobs of haters that are coming after her. I mean, she's even got the occupier in chief in the White House taking shots at her. And, you know, speaking about that situation, you can't tell me that the Daily Fail didn't set that up and that occupier in chief was all in it. He was very well aware that they were going to ask him that question. As a matter of fact, I think the orange guy practiced his response to that question. I really do. I mean, that really, it's like we got all these things going on here in the United States of America, right? And some dumbass reporter is going to waste a White House briefing asking the president of the United States a question about Harry and Meghan. In the meanwhile, we got people dying everywhere, people losing their damn jobs, people worrying about their health insurance, people suffering from COVID-19, people not knowing where their next meal is coming from, right? People scared to send their kids to school. You got parents who got to go to work and homeschool their children. But yo dumbass from the Daily Fail is going to ask the president of the United States a question during a White House briefing about Harry and Meghan. Them other reporters should have kicked her ass straight out of the White House briefing room. I know that she got some side-eyed looks from the other professional journalist reporters. It's like, bitch, are you serious right now? But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. But you can't tell me that the Daily Fail and Trump were in cahoots for that question. And what did it do? All it did was catapult Meghan's profile in the world. That's all it does. That's all it does. You guys, you haters are going to make her iconic. But anyway, they're never going to learn. Now, Meghan and Harry revealed to the Evening Standard their list of Black History Month's next generation of trailblazers. Disclaimer alert, I had no idea that the United Kingdom had a Black History Month, so I learned something new. Now, these generation of trailblazers are recognized for challenging prejudice and their positive contribution to British society. Some people that were featured on the list were boxing champion Nicola Adams, high-profile figures from the BAM community radio station leader Andrew Campbell, and British Vogue. Is this a mistake? Is this a typo? No? Well, alrighty then. British Vogue editor, Mr. Edward, is on this list as well. Hey, if Harry and Meghan are rocking with him, I'm a rock with him too, with a side-eyed. Now, during this interview with the Evening Standard, Harry and Meghan revealed that they were launching a campaign to end structural racism in the United Kingdom. What I loved about this interview was Prince Harry. He described his own awakening to the lack of opportunities for people from the BAM communities since he met Meghan. He goes on to say that he wasn't aware of so many of the problems within the UK and also globally. Harry went on to say that, you know what? Actually, I thought I was aware. However, I realized that I'm not aware. Harry made it clear that it's not about pointing the fingers. He made it clear that it's not about blame. Harry admitted that he will be the first person to say that this is all about learning. And he went on to say that it's all about listening to what other people have to say. It's about all of us just having a conversation. So, of course, you've got the haters, and I'm not going to focus too much on them. But, I think it was Oman that was saying that why do people get so bothered when it comes to talking about racism? Like, why do people get so bent out of shape about it? And I don't understand why people say that Harry and Meghan come from a position of privilege, therefore they should not be talking about racism. Well, that absolutely makes no sense to me because they are the perfect people to talk about racism, okay? And the reason why they are is, number one, they do come from a life of privilege. However, look what they have faced. Think about it. Look what they faced due to racism. Harry done faced death threats because he married a biracial woman, right? I mean, he's a freaking prince, but he faced death threats because he married a biracial woman. And look at Meghan. Just because she married a prince, that didn't mean that the racist attacks against her stopped. As a matter of fact, they increased. They got worse. And she's still dealing with it, being married to a prince. So racism, what it teaches you is that racism does not discriminate. It doesn't care what your socioeconomic status is in the world. If you're not white, you're not right. And if you are white, you better not betray the white race because we're coming after you. So anyway, like I said, of course, you had these haters. I'm just going to mention one hater because I think this shit is funny as hell. All right. Kate Middleton's uncle was so bent out of shape because Harry spoke about structural racism in the UK. This fat slob who's a drug addict and likes to beat his wife actually told Harry and Meghan to shut the F up, right? And he didn't want to hear what they had to say. And, he goes on to say how Harry done abandoned the royal family and his countrymen. And then he called Meghan a wrong-in. Now, I don't know what that means, but what I've been reading on Twitter is that it's a racial slur, right? I'm not too sure if that's true, but that's what I'm reading on Twitter, that a wrong-in is a racial slur, okay? So that just goes to show you what they were truly dealing with inside the royal family. If Kate Middleton, who is the future queen consort, own uncle feels brazen enough to tell Prince Harry, her brother-in-law, to shut the F up, and then call his wife, her sister-in-law, a racial slur, or just a derogatory slur, period, if he feels so brazen to do that and then doubles down on it, that tells me all I need to know about that trash family. Royal family values. All right. Caroline Davies, who is a writer for The Guardian, wrote an article about Harry and Meghan's campaign to end instructional racism in the UK. This article is excellent. Everybody in the Squatty Squad and all Meghan and Harry fans and supporters really need to read this article. Now, what Miss Caroline Davis did was that she actually spoke to organizers and leaders who are already in the fight when it comes to race equality in the United Kingdom. The article says that race equality campaigners have hailed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's call for an end to structural racism in the UK as an incredibly powerful and compelling message that demonstrated the couple had their fingers firmly on the millennial pulse. Wow. Now, a Dr. Halima, and I'm going to spell her last name, Begum, who is the director of Runnymede Trust, described the message as compelling and overwhelming. It tells us they understand the millennial pulse. They understand what young people care about today. They understand what is right for the future of the United Kingdom. She goes on to say, they are the people's royals. Let me repeat that. They are the people's royals. I know that every young person, Black and minority ethnic, and including white, will be thinking that this is a couple who actually understand our future and our nation as it is today. Now, a Lord Woolley, I'm probably saying his last name wrong too, but he spells his last name Woolley, who is the director of Operation Black Vote. He says structural racism was an uncomfortable truth, and the sooner we confront it, the better. He goes on to say that Harry and Meghan, they have a leadership voice. And in this Black Lives Matter movement space, what they are saying to these young people, Black and white, is your protest to demand structural change is 100% legit. Now, he goes on to say that they're a young mixed heritage couple. As a family, they have had to confront the most awful racism. Their royal privilege has not spared them the poison of the UK racism. They also featured Tyreek Morris, who is from the community youth-led group All Black Lives UK. He goes on to say that, Harry's admission he had not been as aware as he thought should resonate with others, Mr. Tyreek Morris said. It invited people to question themselves on whether they are complicit in structural racism or if they benefit from the system, because white privilege is very much a thing, he said. Now, they speak to other people within the Black Lives Matter unit, and they also speak to other organizers who are race equality campaigners. Squatty Squad, Meghan fans, Meghan-esque, please check out this article in The Guardian. The writer is Caroline Davies. It's a really good article, and it just goes to show that when you hear idiots like Kate Middleton's uncle who say that Harry and Meghan need to shut the F up, really what Kate Middleton's uncle is saying is that Black people, people of color, immigrants, people who live in disenfranchised communities, and even white people who come from poor working class families need to shut the F up because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it because they feel like people who come from those communities, people who are Black, people who are of color, white people who come from poor working class families, immigrants, they feel like those type of people don't matter. That's why people like Kate Middleton's uncle say, shut the F up. We don't want to hear it because you guys don't matter. That's why they get so incensed. And what makes it worse is that when the British press reaches out to Will and Kate, asking them for a comment, and what do Will and Kate do? They say, we have no comment. So therefore, Will and Kate, your future king and queen of consort, are telling you, you don't matter. We don't want to hear it. Just shut the F up. Royal family values. Gotta love it. All right. Woo! This is a long episode. We at Meghan's World had a lot to say. All right. I want to end this episode by thanking everybody for listening. Meghan's World is a fairly new podcast channel, and I'm telling you, we are growing. We are global. I want to thank each and every one of you all across the world for listening. I appreciate you. I really, really do. Please remember to hit the subscribe button. We want to grow this channel. We want to grow all pro Meghan Markle and Prince Harry pro news channels. Okay, since this is a long episode, I'm going to end this podcast with a very short Meghan Markle quote. Thank you for listening. And again, please hit the subscribe button. Now, here is a famous Meghan Markle quote. No bad energy, guys. No bad energy. Hey, I'm Special K. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next time around. I'm out.